Welcome to the next in a series of demonstrations featuring the DocuWare Kinetic Solution for employee management. Today we'll show two different features within this application. The first will be the request for time off, and the second will be the employee appraisal process.
There's another DocuWare form called the request for time off, or a PTO request. Once this document is filled out, Peggy provides the information that's necessary, the first date, the last date. In this case she's taking 1 day off. It's a sick day, 8 hours. She can go ahead and submit this. If she needed to fill in more than one thing, maybe she was scheduling various vacation times, she could add a second line and ultimately a third line as well. But in this case, she's only taking 1 sick day off. So we'll go ahead and click submit and enter this form into the system. The document then goes into a workflow that requires her manager, and that manager is looked up automatically by the workflow process. And she's assigned the task now of approving this personal time off. Elizabeth gets to see the hours that Peggy has available, the number of hours she's requesting, and the number of hours that she would have after if this is approved, or she could deny it and provide a reason. But at this point, Elizabeth's going to go ahead and approve that. If for some reason there were not enough hours available, Elizabeth could still approve this process and allow Peggy to go negative in her hours available, but that really does depend upon the corporate environment where the application's running. So I'll go ahead and click confirm. This will actually do the math and update her employee master record to indicate that she now only has 72 hours available, because those 8 hours are being removed from her hours available. Peggy will now get an email indicating that the time off has been approved, and she can go ahead and put it on her calendar. And that's how easy it is for us to have an employee request personal time off. And there are a couple of different earnings codes that can be selected from that particular DocuWare form. It could be sick time, bereavement, jury duty, and these values are all obviously personalizable so that they can be made to fit in the corporate environment which they're running. And since that personal time off request has been approved and logged, we'll notice that now there is a dashboard entry indicating that Peggy Jenkins, because she had requested today off, Peggy Jenkins is showing up now in the not available today list. This gives people or managers an idea for which employees are out, whether it be for sick time, vacation time, on a day-to-day basis. But there's something else here as well. We've noticed that there's a new task assigned to Elizabeth. So we'll go ahead and open up that task and take a look at it. Oh, it turns out that there's a performance review due. Now, I've actually triggered this to happen. It happens on a scheduled basis where certain values are interrogated by a workflow, and if the parameters fall into the right range, in this case, I've triggered this workflow to indicate that there is a performance review due for Peggy. So we need to go ahead and create a performance appraisal or cancel it, depending on what we choose to do. So from within this task, I have a choice. I can either, if I have the appraisal already stored locally, I could just navigate to it, open the document up, and then use the DocuWare printer. In order to enter it into the system. If I did not have one already stored, I could use this link. This link would go out and get me the template off the current file cabinet, and it would be a blank template where I could fill this document out. But ultimately, I do have to print this to the DocuWare printer. So once I'm done filling out this form, this happens to be the one I've got filled out now for Peggy Jenkins, I'll go ahead and say print. And this document would get sent to the DocuWare printer. And I should ultimately receive a notification saying that the desktop job was done when it's done printing. So now we see that the desktop job is completed, so we know that the employee appraisal has been stored to the file cabinet. Now I simply need to go ahead and provide the next review date. I'll go ahead and set it for 2019 on August 15th because I review Peggy on an annual basis. And now, from my aspect, the process is done. The next thing that happens is there is a task assigned to Peggy Jenkins. So Peggy at this point will go over her appraisal to see if she agrees or disagrees with any of the comments or statements made in there. There can be a discussion about it, but ultimately she provides either comments that can be added to the document, and then she just simply, as I said, either says agree or disagree, adds her comments, and clicks confirm. At that point, the document is updated with any comments she's made, and of course, through the annotation process, she always has the ability to add comments on a blank page as well. So we come back over to Elizabeth Cash now, who has a task to complete the appraisal because she gets to review any comments that Peggy Jenkins may have put on here. She can review them with her in person if she chooses to, and then mark the appraisal as completed.
Thank you for your attention, and look forward to our next in the series, which is the separation process.